don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately, but I play with wonderful expression. As far as the piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I keep science for life.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of the science of life, Wayne, you got the cucumber sandwiches got for Lady Bracken?
Yes, sir.
By the way, Wayne, I see from your book that on Thursday night, Lord Shoreman and Mr. Worthing were dining with me. 8 bottles of champagne are entered as having been consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why isn't that a bachelor's establishment? The servants invariably drink the champagne. I asked merely for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I've often observed that in married households, the champagne is rarely of first-rate brand.
Good heavens, is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I've had very little experience of it myself up to the present. I've only been married once. That was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
Don't know that I'm much interested in your family life, Wayne.
No, sir. It is not a very interesting subject. I never think of it myself.
Very natural. That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lane's views on marriage seem somewhat lax. Really, if the lower orders don't set us a good example, what on earth is the use of them? They seem as a class to have absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. What else should bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algie.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
Oh, in the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one uses oneself. When one is in the country, one uses other people.
Oh, who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbors. Neighbors.
You've got nice neighbors in your part of Shropshire.
Perfectly horrid. Never speak for one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your county, is it not?
Eh? Shropshire? Yes, yes, of course. Hello, why are these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, it is all very well. But I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirts with you.
I'm in love with Gwendolyn. I went to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you'd come up for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
I really don't see anything romantic in proposing. Very romantic to be in love. Nothing romantic about a definite proposal. Why, one may be accepted. One usually is, I believe. Then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. If ever I get married, I'll certainly try and forget the fact.
I looked at it, dear Auntie. The divorce court was specially invented for people whose memories are so curiously constituted.
There's no use speculating on that subject. Divorce is a made in heaven. Please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. I ordered them specially for Aunt Augusta.
But you've been eating them all the time.
It's quite a different matter. She is my aunt. Have some bread and butter. Bread and butter is for Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is devoted to bread and butter.
And very good, very good food.
My dear fellow, you need not eat as if you're going to eat them all. You behave as if you're married to her already. You are not married to her already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
In the first place, girls never marry the men they flirt with. Girls don't think it right.
That is nonsense.
It isn't. It's a great truth. It accounts for the extraordinary number of bachelors one sees all over the place. In the second, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my first cousin. Before I allow you to marry her, you have to clear up the whole question of Sicily.
Sicily? What on earth do you mean? What do you mean, Algie, by Sicily? I don't know anyone by the name of Sicily.
Hey, you're in the cigarette case Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time you dined here?
Yes, sir.
Are you to say you've had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you would let me know. I've already frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was very near offering a large reward.
Well, I wish you would offer one. I have to be more than usually hard up.
Well, there's no use offering a large reward now that the thing is back.
I think rather mean of you, Ernest, I must say. However, now that I read the inscription inside, I find the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course, it's mine. You've seen it 100 times. And you You've no right to what to read what was written inside. It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case. Just give it back to me, Algy.
It's absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should and shouldn't read. More than half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I can quite understand that, and I don't propose to discuss modern culture. It isn't the sort of thing one discusses in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, this is not your old cigarette case. Cigarette case is a present from someone with the name of Cicely. You said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you must know, Cicely happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady. She is a student at Cambridge. Well, just give it back to me, Algy.
Yes, but why does she call herself Little Cicely? If she is your aunt, lives at Tunbridge Wells. Little Cicely with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Some aunts are tall, some aunts are not tall. That is surely a matter that an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to be getting the impression that every aunt must be exactly like your aunt. That is absurd. Just give it back to me, Algy.
Yes, why does your aunt call you her uncle? From Little Cicely, with her fondest love, to her dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt. Why an aunt, no matter what her size may be, should call her own nephew her uncle? I can't quite make out. Besides, her name isn't Jack at all. It's Ernest.
Isn't Ernest?
You've always
Jack.
told me your name was Ernest. I introduced to everyone as the name of Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest? You look as if your name was Ernest. Well, the most earnest-looking person I've ever seen in my life. It's perfectly absurd. You're saying your name isn't Ernest. It's on your cards. Here's one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany. I'll keep this as proof your name is Ernest. Whatever you attempt to deny it to me, for Gwendolyn, anyone else.
Yes, well, my name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country, and the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that does not account for this fact that your small Aunt Cicely, who lives in Tunbridge Wells, calls you her uncle. Come on, old boy. You'd much better have the thing out at once.
Algy, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. It is very vulgar to talk as if one is a dentist. When one isn't a dentist, it produces a false impression.
Well, that is what dentists always do. Now go on. Well, tell me why you're Ernest in town and Jack in the country, and I may say that I've always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret bunburyist, and I'm quite sure of it now.
Bunburyist? What on earth do you mean by a bunburyist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you're kind enough to tell me why you're Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now produce your explanation. And pray make it improbable.
There's nothing improbable, no explanation at all. In fact, it's perfectly ordinary. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who talked to him when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cicely Cardew. Cicely, who addressed me as her uncle, from motives of respect which you cannot possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country under the charge of the admirable governess, Miss Prism.
Where's that place in the country?
That is nothing to you, dear boy. You are not to be invited. I may tell you that the place is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that. I've bunburyed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now go on. Why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
My dear Algy, I don't know whether you'll be able to understand my real motives. You are hardly serious enough. When one is placed in a position of guardian, one has to adopt a very high moral tone on all subjects. It's one's duty to do so. And as a high moral tone can hardly be said to conduce much to either one's health or to one's happiness, in order to get up to town, I've always pretended to have a younger brother of the name of Ernest, who lives in the Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algy, is the truth, pure and simple.
The truth is very pure, never simple. Modern life would be very tedious were either modern literature a complete impossibility.
It wouldn't be at all a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not your forte. You should leave that to the people who haven't been at university. They do it so well in the daily papers. You really are the bunburyist. I was quite right in saying you were a bunburyist. One of the most advanced bunburyists that I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You've invented a very useful younger brother called Ernest, so that you may come up to town as often as you like. I've invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury, so that I may go down to the country whenever I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. If it wasn't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I would not be able to dine with you tonight at Willis's, for I have been engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine anywhere with us tonight.
I know, you're Augusta? I haven't the smallest intention of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine there on Monday. Once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relations. Secondly, whenever I do dine there, I'm treated as a member of the family, sat down with either nobleman at all or two. In the third place, I know whom she will place me next to tonight. She will place me next to Mary Farcical, who always flirts with her own husband across the dinner table. Not very pleasant indeed, it is not even decent. That sort of thing is enormously on the increase. The number of women in London who flirt with their own husbands is perfectly scandalous. It looks so bad. It's merely washing one's own clean linen in public. Besides, now that I know you to be a confirmed bunburyist, I would naturally like to talk to you about bunburying. I want to tell you the rules.
I'm not a bunburyist at all. Indeed, if Gwendolyn says me, I think I'll kill my brother. I think I'll kill him in any case. Cicely is a little too much interested in him. It's rather a bore. And I strongly suggest that you do the same with your friend, with your anybody friend who has the absurd name.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury. And if you ever get married, which seems to me extremely problematic, you will want to know Bunbury. A man who marries without knowing Bunbury is a very tedious time.
But that is nonsense. If ever I marry Gwendolyn, she's the only girl in the entire world that I've ever met that I would marry, then I certainly wouldn't want to know Bunbury.
And your wife will. You don't seem to realize that in married life, 3 is company, 2 is none.
That, my dear friend, is the corrupt theory that the French drama has been propounding for the last 50 years.
Yes, and the happy English home is proved in half the time.
Don't be cynical, Algie. It's perfectly easy to be cynical.
It's not easy to be anything nowadays. Such a lot of beastly competition. That must be Augusta. Only relatives and creditors ever bring that bug near to get better. Now, if I get her out of the way for 10 minutes so you may be close with Gwendolyn, may I dine with you tonight? Willis's.
I suppose so, if you want to.
You must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about meals. So shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Babs.
Good afternoon, Alton. I hope you're behaving very well.
I'm feeling very well, Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you are smart.
I'm always smart. Am I not, Mr. Welding?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
I hope I'm not that. That would leave no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I'm sorry for your little late, Alton. I was obliged to call on dear Lady Harvey. I hadn't been there since her poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so old. She looks quite 20 years younger. And now I'll have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Augusta.
Won't you come and sit here, Gwendolyn?
Thanks, Mamma. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens, Lane, why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially.
There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went down twice.
No cucumbers?
No, sir. Not even for ready money.
That'll do, Lane, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I am pretty distressed, Aunt Augusta, about there being no cucumbers, not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Alton. I had some trumpets with dear Lady Harvey, who seems to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its color, for what cause I, of course, cannot say. Thank you. I've quite a treat for you tonight, Alton. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She's such a nice woman and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch her.
I'm afraid, Aunt Augusta, I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight after all.
I should hope not. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he's accustomed to that.
It is a great bore, and I need hardly say terrible disappointment, Aunt Augusta. But I've just received a telegram to say that my poor friend Bunbury is dreadfully ill again.
That is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, I think it is high time that this Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he is going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy of invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I'm always telling that to your poor uncle. He never seems to take much notice, as far as any improvement from his ailment goes. I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me to be kind enough not to have a relapse on Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season, when everyone has said whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
I'll talk to Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, if he is still conscious. And I think I can promise you that he'll be all right by Saturday. Of course, the music is a great difficulty. You see, if one plays good music, people don't listen. And if one plays bad music, then people won't talk. But I will run over the program I've drawn out, if you'd kindly step into the next room for a moment.
Thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful. I'm sure the program will be delightful after a few explanations. French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think them improper and look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed, I believe it's so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day to be Miss Fairfax.
Pray, don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else. And that makes me so nervous.
But I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I am never wrong.
And I'd like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary
I
absence.
would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back into a room suddenly that I've often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax.
Mr. Worthing.
Miss Fairfax.
Mr. Worthing.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I've never loved anyone in the world as much as I have since I met you.
Yes, I'm quite well aware of the fact. And I often wish that in public, at any rate, you would be more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines, and has reached provincial pulpits, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone with the name of Ernest. There's something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
Then you do love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
Darling.
My own Ernest.
But you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest.
But your name is Ernest.
Well, yes, of course it is, but say it was something else. Are you saying you couldn't love me then?
That is clearly a metaphysical speculation, and like most metaphysical speculations, has very little relevance at all to the actual facts of real life.
Yes, of course it does, but I don't much like the name of Ernest. I don't think it suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Well, I don't much like the name of the name I I think there are much other nicer names. I think Jack, for instance.
Jack? No, there's very little music in the name Jack. Any at all, indeed. It does not thrill. It gives absolutely no vibrations. I've known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is notorious domesticity for John. I pity any woman who's married to a man named John. She would probably never be allowed to know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe thing is Ernest.
Well, then, I must get christened at once. I mean, we must be married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Surely, you led me to believe that you love me, and you know that I'm not absolutely indifferent to you.
I adore you. But you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing at all has been said about marriage. The subject has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it an admirable opportunity. And to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it only fair to tell you quite frankly beforehand that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn?
Yes, Mr. Worthing. What have you got to say to me?
You know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long you've been about it? I'm afraid you've had very little experience in how to propose.
My own one, I've never loved anyone in the world but you.
Yes, but men often propose with practice. I know my brother Gerald does, and my girlfriends tell me so. Wonderfully blue eyes you have, Ernest. They are quite blue. I hope you'll always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people present.
Mr. Worthing! Rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I must beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing is not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I am engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, but you are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged to someone, I or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise, however pleasant or unpleasant as the case may be. It should hardly be a thing that she should be allowed to arrange for herself. And now I have a few questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. And while I make these inquiries, you, Gwendolyn, will wait for me below in the carriage.
Mamma!
In the carriage, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn! The carriage!
Yes, Mamma.
You may take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
Well, I feel bound to tell you that you're not down on my list of elderly young men, although I do have the same list that the dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together. Thank you. But I'm quite ready to enter your name should your answers be what a truly affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I am glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London. How old are you?
29?
A very good age to be married. I have always been of the opinion that a man who desires to be married should either know everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I am pleased to hear it. I am not myself in favor of anything that hampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would prove a serious danger to the upper classes and probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
That is not unsatisfactory. But between the duties expected from one during one's lifetime, the duties exacted from one after one's death, land seems to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position but prevents one from keeping it up. That's all that can be said about land.
Well, I do own a country house with some land attached to it, about 1,500 acres, but I don't really rely on that for my real income. As far as I can make out, the poachers are the only people who make anything of it.
A country house? How many bedrooms? But that point will be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope? A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn's could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
Well, yes, I own a house in Belgrave Square. It is not my year to Lady Bloxham. Of course, I can get it back anytime I like at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham? No, I don't know her.
She goes about very little. She is a lady considerably advanced in her years.
Ah. Nowadays, that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
The unfashionable side. I knew there was something. However, that could easily be altered.
Do you mean the fashion or the side?
Oh, if necessary, I presume. What are your politics?
Well, I'm afraid I really have none. I'm a liberal unionist.
Yes, they count as Tories. They dine with us or come in the evening at any rate. And now on to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both of my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born what the papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise to the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm afraid I really don't know. You see, I said that I had lost my parents. It would be near to the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I was found.
Found?
The late Mr. Thomas Carter, a gentleman of very kindly and charitable disposition, found me in the name of Worthing because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman with a first-class ticket to a seaside resort find you?
In a handbag. Yes, a somewhat large handbag, another with handles, an ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
In the cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him in mistake for his own.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the Brighton
The
line.
line is immaterial. Mr. Worthing, I must confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate bred in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the natural decencies of family life that remind one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. And I need hardly tell you what that unfortunate movement led to. As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station might serve to conceal a social indiscretion, has probably been used before now, but could hardly be regarded as an assured basis in good society.
Well, then, can I ask you what you would like me to do? I need hardly say that I would do anything to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce At any rate, one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
But I don't see how I'm supposed to do that. I can produce the handbag at any moment. It is in my dressing room at home. I really think that should satisfy you, baby Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I or Lord Bracknell would even dream of allowing our only daughter, who was brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Good morning. For goodness sake, Algy, stop playing that ghastly tune. How idiotic you are.
Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say that Gwendolyn refused you? I know it's the way she had. She's always refusing people. I think it is most ill-natured of her.
Oh, Gwendolyn is as right as a trivet. As far as she's concerned, we are engaged. Her mother's perfectly unbearable. Never met such a gorgon. I don't even know what a gorgon is, but I'm quite sure that Lady Bracknell is one. In any case, she's a monster, without being a miss, and I really think that is quite unfair. I'm sorry, Algy, I suppose I shouldn't be speaking this way of your relations before you.
My dear fellow, I love hearing my relations abused. It's the only thing that makes me put up with them. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people who haven't the remotest idea about how to live, nor the smallest instinct of when to die.
That is nonsense.
It isn't.
Well, I won't argue the matter with you. You always want to argue about things.
Well, that's what things were originally made for.
On my word, if I believe that, I'd shoot myself. You don't think there's any chance of Gwendolyn becoming like her mother in about 150 years, do you, Algy?
All women become like their mothers. That's their tragedy. What a man does, that's his.
Is that clever?
It's perfectly phrased, and quite as true as any observation in civilized life should be.
I'm sick to death of cleverness. Everybody's clever nowadays. It's becoming a public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had a few fools left.
We have.
I'd extremely like to meet them. What do they talk about?
Oh, the fools. About the clever people, of course.
What fools?
By the way, you told Gwendolyn the truth about your being Ernest in town, Jack in the country?
The truth isn't the sort of thing one tells to a nice, sweet, refined girl like Gwendolyn. What extraordinary ideas you have about the way to behave to a woman.
The only way to behave to a woman is to make love to her if she is pretty. Someone else if she is plain.
That's nonsense.
What about your brother, the profligate Ernest?
Oh, by the end of the week, I think I shall have got rid of him. I'll say he died in Paris of apoplexy. Quite a few people die of apoplexy quite suddenly, don't they?
Yes, my dear boy. It is hereditary. The sort of thing that runs in families. You would much better say a severe chill.
Yes, but you are sure severe chill isn't hereditary or anything of the sort.
Of course it isn't.
Very well. My poor brother Ernest shall be carried off quite suddenly in Paris by a severe chill. That gets rid of him?
But I thought you said that Miss Connie was a little too attached to your poor brother Ernest. Won't she feel his loss a good deal?
I'm happy to say Cicely is not a silly little romantic girl. She has a capital appetite, goes long walks, and pays no attention at all to her lessons.
I'd rather like to see Cicely.
I will take very good care that you never do. She's excessively pretty, and she's only just 18.
Have you told Winston about your having an excessively pretty woman who is just 18?
One doesn't blurt these things out to people. Cicely and Gwendolyn are perfectly sure to be great friends. I'll bet you anything you like that half an hour after they met, they shall be calling each other sister.
Women only do that when they have called each other a lot of other things first. Now, if we want to get a good table at Willis's tonight, we must go and dress. I'm hungry.
Never knew you when you weren't.
What shall we do after dinner? Go to a theater?
Oh no, I loathe listening.
Shall we go to a club?
Oh no, I hate talking.
We might trot around the Empire tent.
Oh no, I can't stand looking at things. It's so silly.
What on earth shall we do?
Nothing.
It's awfully hard work doing nothing. However, I don't mind hard work if there's no definite object of any kind. Miss Fairfax. Gwendolyn, upon my
attitude towards life. You are not quite old enough to do that. Ernest, we may never be married. From the expression on Mamma's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children say to them. The old-fashioned respect for the young is fast dying out. Whatever influence I ever had with Mamma, I lost at the age of 3. And although she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone else and marry off, and nothing she could possibly do can alter my eternal devotion to
Gwendolyn, darling.
the story of your romantic origin, as related to me by Mamma, unpleasing comments, has naturally stirred the deeper fibers of my nature. Your Christian name has an irresistible fascination. The simplicity of your character is exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your town address at the Albany I have. What is your address in the country?
The Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire. T-O-N, yes.
There's a good postal service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something with this.
My own one.
That, of course, will require serious consideration. I will communicate daily. How long do you leave down?
Till Monday.
Good. Algy, you may turn round now.
Thanks, I've turned around already.
You may also ring the bell.
You will let me see you to your carriage, darling.
Certainly.
I will see Miss Fairfax out.
Yes, sir.
A glass of sherry, Lane.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow I'm going Bunbury Lane.
Yes, sir.
I shall probably not be back till Monday. You can set out my smoking jacket, my dress clothes, and all the Bunbury suits.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it'll be a fine day, Lane.
It never is, sir.
Lane, you're a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to give satisfaction, sir.
That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Now there's a sensible fellow. I cared for in my life. What on earth are you doing?
Well, I'm a little anxious for poor Bunbury, that is all.
If you aren't careful, your poor friend Bunbury will get you into a serious scrape someday.
I love scrapes. They're the only things that are never serious.
That is nonsense. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Nobody ever does.
You must realize his constant anxiety about that unfortunate young man, his brother.
I wish Uncle Jack would allow that unfortunate young man, his brother, to come down here sometimes. I think we might have a good influence over him in this prison. I'm sure you certainly would. You know German and geology and things of that kind influence a man very much.
I don't think that even I could produce any effect on a character that, according to his own brother's admission, is irretrievably weak and vacillating. In fact, I don't think I would like to reclaim him at all. I am not of the modern notion that bad people can be turned into good people at a moment's notice. As a man sows, so let him reap. Cicely, you must put away your diary at once. I don't know why you keep a diary at all.
I keep a diary in order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life. If I didn't write them down, I should probably forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cicely, is the diary we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles the things that have never happened and couldn't possibly have happened. I believe that memory is responsible for nearly all the 3-volume novels that Mary sends us.
Do not speak slightingly of the 3-volumed novel, Cecily. I wrote one myself in earlier days.
Did you really, Miss Prism? How wonderfully clever you are. I hope it did not end happily. I don't like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
Well, the good ended happily and the bad unhappily. That's what fiction means.
I suppose so. But it seems very unfair. And was your novel ever published?
Alas, no. The manuscript, unfortunately, was abandoned. I mean in the sense of lost or mislaid. Now, to your work, child, these speculations are profitless.
But I see dear Dr. Chasuble coming up to the garden.
Dr. Chasuble? Oh, now, this is indeed a pleasure.
And how are we this morning? Miss Prism, you are, I trust, well?
This Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache. I think it would do her so much good to go for a short stroll with you in the park, Dr. Chasuble.
Cicely, I did not mention anything about a headache.
No, dear Miss Prism, I know that. But I felt instinctively that you had a headache. Indeed, I was thinking of that and not my German lesson when the rector came in.
I hope, Cicely, you are not in a tutu.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
That is strange. If I were fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her lips. I look metaphorically. My metaphor is drawn from the beat.
Oh,
Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not returned from town yet.
no, we do not expect until Monday afternoon.
Yes, he would like to spend his Sundays in London. He's not one of those whose sole aim is enjoyment, as by all accounts that unfortunate young man's brother seems to be. But I must not disturb Eugenia and her pupil any longer.
Eugenia? My name's Letitia, Doctor.
A classical illusion merely, drawn from the painted authors. I shall see you both no doubt in evening song.
I think I will join you, dear Rector. I find that I have a headache after all, and a walk might do it good.
Well, with pleasure. We might go as far as the school's back.
That sounds delightful. Cicely, you will study your political economy in my absence. The chapter on the fall of the rupee you may omit. It's somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side.
Horrid political economy, horrid geography, horrid German.
Mr. Ernest Worthing has just driven over from the station. He has brought his boat.
Mr. Ernest Worthing, before the Albany W. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him Mr. Worthing was in town?
Yes, he seemed very much disappointed. I mentioned the fact that you and Miss Prism had gone for a walk in the garden. He seemed anxious to speak to you privately.
Ask Mr. Ernest Worthing to come here. I suppose you'd better talk to him about, talk to the housekeeper about a room for him.
Yes, miss.
I have never met any really wicked person before. I feel rather frightened. I'm so
I have a business appointment I'm rather anxious to miss.
Couldn't you miss it anywhere but in London?
Oh, just in London.
Well, I know, of course, how important it is not to keep a business engagement if one is to retain any of the sense of beauty of life. But still, I think you'd better wait till Uncle Jack arrives. I know he wants to talk to you about your emigrating.
About my what?
You're emigrating. He's gone up to buy your outfit.
I certainly wouldn't let Jack buy my outfit. He has no taste in neckties.
I don't think you will require neckties. Uncle Jack is sending you to Australia.
Australia? I'd sooner die.
Well, he said at dinner on Wednesday night, you would have to choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Oh, well, the accounts that I received of Australia and the next world are not particularly encouraging. Besides, this world is good enough for me, Cousin Cicely.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not that. That is why I want you to reform me. You might make that your mission.
I'm afraid I've no time this afternoon.
Well, then, would you mind my reforming myself this afternoon?
It is rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
I will. I feel better already.
You're looking a little worse.
Well, that is because I am hungry.
Oh, how thoughtless of me. I should have remembered that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Might I have a buttonhole first? I have never any appetite unless I have a buttonhole first.
And that I shall need.
No, I'd sooner have a pink rose, Cousin Cicely.
Why?
Because you're like a little pink rose.
I don't think it can be right for you to say such things to me. Miss Prism never says things like that.
Then Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You're the prettiest girl I ever saw.
Miss Prism says that all good looks are a snare.
Then there are snares that every sensible man would like to be caught in.
I don't think I would care to catch a sensible man. I don't think I would know what to do.
You're too much alone, dear Dr. Chasuble. You should get married. A misanthrope I can understand. A woman's throat can never...
Believe me, I do not deserve so eulogistic a phrase. The precept as well as the practice of the primitive church was strictly against matrimony.
That is precisely why the prehistoric church has not lasted to the present day. And you must realize, dear doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation. Men should be more careful. This very celibacy leads weaker vessels astray.
But is a man not equally attractive when married?
Oh, no married man is ever attractive, unless to his wife.
And often I'm told, not to her.
Well, that depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman, wouldn't you say? Maturity can always be depended upon. Ripeness can be trusted. Oh, young women are green. Oh, I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruits. But where is it, Sicily?
Perhaps she followed us to the school. Mr. Worthing,
This is a surprise, Mr. Worthing. We were not looking for you until Monday afternoon.
I have returned sooner than I expected. Dr. Chasuble, I hope you are well.
dear Mr. Worthing, I hope this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother,
Oh, more shameful debts and extravagance.
Still leading his life of pleasure.
dead.
Your brother Ernest, dead.
Quite dead.
Let that be a lesson to him. I trust he will profit by it.
offer my sincere condolence. You have at least the consolation of knowing that you are always the most generous and forgiving of brothers.
Poor Ernest, he had many faults, but this is a sad, sad blow.
Very sad indeed. Were you with him at the end?
No, he died abroad, in Paris, in fact. I received a telegram last night from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death?
A severe chill, it seems.
As a man sows, so shall he.
Charity, Miss Prism, charity. None of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to wrongs. Will the interment take place here?
No, he's expressed a will to be buried in Paris.
In Paris? I fear that hardly points to any very serious state of mind at lost. You would like wish me to make some slight allusion to this tragic domestic affliction next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the manner in the wilderness can be adapted to almost any occasion, joyful, or as in the present case, distressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, on days of humiliation, and on festival days. The last time I delivered it was in the cathedral, as a charity sermon on behalf of the Society for the Prevention of Discontent among the upper orders. The bishop, who is present, is much struck by some of the analogies I do.
That reminds me, Dr. Chastel, you mentioned christenings, I think. You do know how to christen, all right? Well, I mean, you are continually christening, aren't you?
It is, I regret to say, one of the rector's most constant duties in this parish. I've often had to speak to the poorer classes on the subject, but they don't seem to know what thrift is.
Mr. Worthing, is there any particular infant in whom you are interested? Your brother was, I believe, unmarried.
Oh, yes, yes, quite unmarried.
People who live for pleasure usually are.
He's not very child, Doctor. I'm very fond of children. No, the fact is, I'd like to be christened myself this afternoon. If you have nothing better to do.
Surely, Mr. Worthing, you would have been christened already.
But I don't remember anything about it.
But have you any grave doubts on the subject?
I certainly intend to have. Unless, of course, you think there is something wrong with it, or if I am too old now.
No, not at all. The sprinkling and indeed the immersion of adults is quite a bit canonical.
Immersion?
You need have no apprehensions. Sprinkling is all that is necessary, or indeed I think advisable. Our method is so changeable. What hour would you like the ceremony performed?
I might trot around about 5, if that will suit you.
Perfectly, perfectly. In fact, I have two similar ceremonies to perform at that time. Case of twins that occurred recently in one of the outlying cottages on your own estate. Poor Jenkins, the carter. Most hard-working man.
But I don't think it much fun to be christened along with other babies. That would be childish. Would 5:30 do?
Admirably. And now, Mr. Worthing, I will intrude no longer into a house of sorrow. I will merely beg you not to be too much bowed down by grief. What seemed was bitter trials are often blessings in disguise.
Well, this seems to be a blessing of an extremely obvious kind. Uncle Jack?
Oh, I am pleased to see you back. Look what horrid clothes you've got on. Do go and change them. Cicely! Uncle Jack, what's the matter? Do look happy. You look as if you had a toothache, and I have such a surprise for you. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother!
Who?
He arrived about half an hour ago.
That's nonsense. I haven't got a brother.
Don't say that. However badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he is still your brother. I will go and tell him to come out, and you will shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
These are very joyful tidings.
After getting used to his loss, his sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My brother's in the dining room. I don't know what all this means. I think it's perfectly absurd. Good heavens!
Brother John, I've come down from town to tell you that I'm very sorry for all the trouble I caused, and I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you're not going to refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing will induce me to take his hand. I think it's coming down here absurd. You know perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. There is some good in everyone. Ernest has just been telling me about his poor invalid friend Mr. Bunbury whom he goes to visit. Surely there must be much good
considering it is the first time I've come here.
Uncle Jack, if you won't shake hands with Ernest, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never.
Very well. But this shall be the last time that I ever do it.
It's pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation? I think we might leave the two brothers together.
Cicely, you come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism, my little task of reconciliation is over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
Let's not be premature in our judgments.
I feel very happy.
Alfie, you must get out of here at once! I don't allow any buttering here!
I put Mr. Ernest's things in the room next to yours, sir. Suppose that's all right.
What?
Mr. Ernest's luggage, sir. I put it in the room next to you.
His luggage?
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaux, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay for more than a week this time.
You won't be here. Marion, order the dog cart at once. Mr. Ernest is being suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
What a fearful lie you are, Jack. I have not been called back to town at all.
Yes, you have.
I haven't heard anyone call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duties as a gentleman have never interfered with my pleasures to the smallest degree.
I can quite understand that.
Well, Cicely is a darling.
Not to talk to Miss Cardew like that. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly childish in them. Why on earth don't you go up and change? It's perfectly ridiculous to be in mourning for a man who's actually staying with you for a whole week in your house as a guest. I call it grotesque.
You are not staying with me for an entire week as a guest or anything else. You better leave by the 4-5 train.
I certainly won't go so long as you're in mourning. Be most unfriendly. Besides, if I were in mourning, you'd stay with me, I suppose. I'd think it most unfriendly if you didn't.
Will you go if I change my clothes?
Yes, if you're not too long. I never saw anyone take so long to dress with such little result.
Well, at any rate, that is better than always being overdressed as you are.
I am occasionally a little overdressed. I make up for it by always being immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous. Your conduct, an outrage, and your presence in my garden utterly absurd. However, you've got to leave by the 4-5 train, and I hope you will have a pleasant journey back to town. This bumbering, as you call it, has not been a great success for you.
I think it has been a great success. I'm in love with Cicely. That is everything. But I must go and see her at once to make arrangements for my next one.
Oh, I merely came back to water the roses. I thought you were with Uncle Jack.
He's gone to order the dog cart for me.
Oh, is he going to take you for a nice drive?
Going to send me away.
Have you got to part?
I'm afraid so. It is a very painful parting.
It is always painful to part from people whom one has known for a very brief space of time. In absence of old friends, one can endure with equanimity, but even a momentary separation from anyone to whom one has just been introduced is almost unbearable.
Thank you.
The dog cart is at the door, sir.
We can wait there even for 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I hope, Cicely, I shall not offend you if I state quite frankly and openly that you seem to me to be in every way the visible personification of absolute perfection.
I think your frankness does you great credit, Ernest. If you will allow me, I will copy your remarks into my diary.
You really keep a diary? I'd give anything to read it, may I?
Oh, no. You see, it is simply a record of a very young girl's thoughts and opinions, and consequently meant for publication. When it appears in volume form, I hope you'll order a copy. But do go on, don't stop, Ernest. I delight in taking down from dictation. I
wildly,
Wildly.
passionately, devotedly, and hopelessly.
I don't think that you should tell me that you love me wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly. Hopelessly doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
Cicely,
The dog cart is waiting, sir.
I look to come round next week at the same hour.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jack would be very much annoyed if he knew you were staying on till next week at the same hour.
Well, I don't care about Jack. I don't care about anyone in the whole world. Cicely, I love you. Will you marry me?
Silly boy, of course. Why, you've been engaged for the last 3 months.
For the last 3 months?
Yes, it will be exactly 3 months on Thursday.
How did we become engaged?
Well, ever since dear Uncle Jack first confessed to us that he had a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you, of course, have formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prison. And the man who is much talked about is always very attractive. One feels there must be something in him after all. I dare say it was foolish of me, but I fell in love with you, Ernest.
Darling. And when was our engagement actually settled?
On the 14th of February last. No doubt by your entire ignorance of my existence, I decided to end the matter one way or the other, and after a long struggle with myself, I accepted you under that dear old tree. The next day, I got this little ring in your name, and this is the bangle that true lovers knot on, and I promised you always to wear.
Did I give you this? It is pretty, isn't it?
Yes, you've wonderfully good taste, Ernest. It's the excuse I've always given you for leading such a bad life. And this is the dear box in which I keep all your dear letters.
My letters? But my own sweet love, I have never written you any letters.
You need hardly remind me of that, Ernest. I remember only too well that I was forced to write your letters for you. I wrote always 3 times a week, and sometimes oftener.
Do let me read them.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. They would make you far too conceited. The last 3 you wrote me after I had broken off our engagement are so beautiful and so badly spelled that even now I can hardly read them when you're crying a little.
Was our engagement ever broken off?
Of course it was. On the 22nd of last March. You can see the entry if you like. Today, I broke off my engagement with Ernest. I feel it is better to do so. The weather still continues charming.
Why did you break it off, Cicely? What had I done? I had done nothing. Cicely, I'm very hurt indeed to hear that you broke off our engagement. Particularly when the weather was so charming.
It would hardly have been a very serious engagement, and I would have broken off at least once. But I forgave you before the week was out.
Cicely, what a perfect angel.
You dear romantic boy. Your hair goes naturally, I hope.
Yes, darling, with a little help from others.
I'm so glad.
You'll never break off our engagement again, Cicely.
I don't think I could now that I've actually met you. And besides, there is the question of your name.
Yes, of course.
You mustn't laugh at me, darling, but it had always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name was Ernest. I pity any poor married woman whose husband is not yet called Ernest. That name seems to inspire one with absolute confidence.
But my dear child, you mean to say you could not love me if I had some other name?
What name?
Any name you like? Algernon, for instance.
I don't like the name of Algernon.
But my own sweet, dear, loving little child. I do not see why you should object to the name of Algernon. It is not at all a bad name. In fact, it is rather an aristocratic name. More than half the chaps who end up in bankruptcy court are called Algernon. But seriously, if my name was Algie, could you love me?
I might respect you, Ernest. I might admire your character, but I'm afraid I shouldn't be able to give you my undivided attention.
Cicely, your rector here is, I suppose, thoroughly practiced in all the rites and ceremonies of the church?
Oh, yes. Dr. Chasuble is a most learned man. He's never written a single book, so you can imagine how learned he is.
I must him at once on a most important christening. I mean, most important business. I shan't be away more than half an hour.
Considering that we've been engaged since February the 14th, that we've only met each other today for the first time, I think it's rather hard of you to be away from me for so long a period as half an hour.
I'll be back in no time.
Couldn't you make it 20 minutes? What an impetuous boy he is. I like his hair so much. I must wait to post that into my diary.
Miss Fairfax has just called to speak with Mr. Worthing on very important terms in Miss Fairfax case.
Isn't Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing wrote the directory some time ago.
Pray, ask the lady to come out here. I'm sure Mr. Worthing will be back soon. And you can bring tea.
Yes.
Miss Fairfax. Probably one of the many elderly women Uncle Jack is associated with in London in some of his philanthropic work. I don't quite like women who are interested in philanthropic work. I think it's so forward.
Miss Fairfax.
Pray, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cicely Cardew.
Cicely Cardew. What a very sweet name. Something tells me we're going to be great friends. I like you already more than I can say. My first impressions of people are never wrong.
How nice of you to like me so much after we have known each other for such a comparatively short time. Pray, sit down.
I may call you Cicely, may I not?
With pleasure.
And you will always call me Gwendolyn, won't you?
If you wish.
And that is all quite settled. Is it not?
I hope so.
Perhaps maybe a favorable opportunity for my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bradford. You have never heard of Papa, I suppose?
I don't think so.
Outside the family circle, Papa, I am glad to say, is entirely unknown. I think that's quite as it should be. The home seems to me to be the atmosphere for a man, and certainly once a man begins to neglect his domestic duties, he becomes painfully effeminate. Does he not? And I don't like that. It makes men so very attractive. Cicely, Mamma, whose views on education are remarkably strict, has brought me up to be extremely short-sighted. So do you mind me looking at you through my glasses?
Oh, not at all, Gwendolyn. I'm very fond of being looked at.
You are here on a short visit, I suppose.
Oh, no. I live here.
Really? Your mother, no doubt, or a female relative of advanced years, as I should also.
Oh, no. I have no mother, nor, in fact, any relations.
Indeed.
My dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's Hall.
Oh. Strange. Never mentioned to me that he had a ward. Of him. He grows more interesting hourly. I'm not sure, however, that the news inspires me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cicely. I have liked you ever since I met you. But I am bound to state that now that I know that you are Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot help expressing a wish you were, well, just a little older than you seem to be. You're not quite so very alluring in appearance. In fact, if I may speak candidly,
Pray do.
applies to many most painful examples of what I refer to. If it were not so, indeed, history would be quite unreadable.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn, but did you say Ernest?
Yes.
Oh, but it is not Ernest who is my guardian. It is his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
I'm afraid they've not been on good terms for a long time.
That accounts for it. And now that I think of it, I've never heard any man mention his brother. The subject seems distasteful to most men. Cicely, you have left it alone from my mind. I was almost growing anxious. It would have been terrible when cloud had come across a country like ours. But not. Of course, you are quite sure it's not Mr. Ernest Worthing who was your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I am going to be his.
I beg your pardon.
Dearest Gwendolyn, there is no reason why I should make a secret of it to you. Our little county newspaper is sure to run from the fact next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
My darling Cicely, I think there must be some slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcement will appear in the Morning Post on Saturday at the latest.
I'm afraid you must be under some misconception. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is very curious. For he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you would care to verify the incident, pray do so. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. I'm so sorry, dear Cicely, but it is any disappointment to you at all. But I'm afraid I have the prior claim.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn, if it caused you any mental or physical anguish. But I feel bound to point out that since Ernest has proposed to you, he clearly has changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped in any kind of foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand.
Whatever unfortunate entanglement my dear boy may have got himself into, I shall never reproach him for it after we are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion of this kind, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
You suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement. How dare you? This is no time for wearing a sharp mask of manners. When I say spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I've never seen a spade. It is obvious our social spheres have been widely different.
Shall I lay the tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many interesting walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Oh yes, a great many. From one of the mountains quite close, one can see 5 counties.
5 counties? I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds.
I suppose that's why you live in town?
Quite a well-kept garden, this is, Miss Cardew.
So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
I had no idea there were any flowers in the country.
Oh, flowers are as common here, Miss Fairfax, as people are in London.
Personally, I can never understand how anybody manages to exist in the country. If anybody was anybody does. Country always bores me to death.
This is what the newspapers call agricultural depression, is it not? I believe the aristocracy are suffering from it quite a bit just at the present. It's quite an epidemic amongst them, I am told. May I offer you some tea, Miss Fairfax?
Thank you. Detestable girl. I require tea.
Sugar?
asked for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature. But I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my sweet, innocent, trusting boy from the machination with any other girl, there are no lengths to which I would not go.
From the moment I met you, I distrusted you. I felt you were false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
It seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I am trespassing on your valuable time. No doubt you have many other calls of a similar character to make in the neighborhood.
Ernest! My own Ernest!
Wait a minute, darling.
A moment! May I ask if you are engaged to be married to this young lady?
Dear little Cicely? Of course not. What could have put such an idea in your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. The gentleman whose arm is at present round your waist is my guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon?
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack?
This is Ernest.
I don't know.
A moment, Ernest. Are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
What young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn.
Yes, to good Gwendolyn.
Of course not. How could I put such an idea in your pretty little head?
Thank you. Nay.
I felt there must be some slight error, Miss Cardew. The gentleman who is now standing beside you is my cousin, Mr. Elgin Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief. Is your name Algernon?
I cannot deny it.
Is your name really John?
Deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked, but my name certainly is John. It has been John for years.
Gross deception has been practiced on both of us.
My poor wounded Cicely.
My sweet rotten Gwendolyn.
You will call me sister, will you not?
There is just one question I should like to be allowed to ask my guardian.
An admirable idea, Mr. Worthing. There's just one question I'd like to be permitted to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is of some importance to us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Gwendolyn, it is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. It is the first time in my life that I've ever been reduced to such a painful position, and I'm really inexperienced in doing anything of the sort. However, I will tell you quite candidly that I have no brother, Ernest. I have no brother at all. I never had a brother in all my life, and I certainly have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future.
No brother at all?
None.
Had you never brother of any kind?
Never, not even of any kind.
Such a most unpleasant situation for a young girl to find herself in, isn't it?
Let us go into the house. They'll hardly venture to come after us there.
No. Men are so cowardly, aren't they?
This ghastly state of things is what you call bunburying, I suppose.
Yes, a perfectly wonderful Bunbury it is too.
Well, you have no right whatsoever to Bunbury here.
Sir, one has a right to Bunbury whenever one chooses. Every serious Bunbury, I suppose that.
Serious Bunburys? Good heavens!
Well, one must be serious about something if one wants to have any amusement in life. I have to be serious about Bunbury. What on earth are you serious about everything, I should imagine?
The only small satisfaction I get out of the whole of this is that your friend Bunbury is quite exploding. You won't be able to go down to the country quite so often as you used to, dear Algy, and a very good thing, too.
Your brother's a little off color, isn't he, dear Jack? You won't be able to go down to London quite so frequently as your wicked custom was, and not a bad thing either.
And as for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, I must say that your taking a sweet, sensible, intellectual girl like that is quite inexcusable, to say nothing of the fact that she's my ward.
I can see no possible defense, Jack, in your deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced young lady like Miss Fairfax, to say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I wanted to be engaged to one, that is all I love her.
I wanted to be engaged to Cicely. I adore
There
her.
is certainly no chance of you and Miss Cardew ever being united. I
I don't think there is much likelihood, Jack, of you and Miss Fairfax being united.
Well, that's no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. Very vulgar to talk about one's own business. Only stockbrokers do that. And then merely at dinner parties.
How you been sitting there, calmly eating muffins when we're in this horrible trouble? I can't quite make out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably get all over my cuffs. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It's the only way to eat them.
I say it's perfectly heartless to eating muffins at all, under the circumstances.
When I am in great trouble, as anyone who knows me intimately will tell you, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I'm in great trouble, I refuse everything except for food and drink. Presently, I'm eating muffins because I am unhappy. Besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
Well, there is no need why you should eat them all in that greedy way.
I wish you would have tea cake instead. I don't like tea
Good
cake.
heavens, I suppose a man made his own muffins in his own garden.
You have just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you. Under the circumstances, that's a very different...
That may be. But the muffins are the same.
Algernon, I wish to goodness you would go.
You can't possibly ask me to go. I haven't had my dinner. It's absurd. I never go anywhere without having my dinner. Nobody ever does except for vegetarians and people like that. Besides, I've made arrangements with Dr. Chasuble to be christened at 5:45 under the name of Ernest.
My dear fellow, the sooner you give up this nonsense, the better. I've already made arrangements with Dr. Chasuble myself this morning to be christened at 5:30, and I naturally will take the name of Ernest. Who and then would wish it? We cannot both be christened Ernest. It's absurd. Besides, I have the perfect right to be christened if I like. There's no proof that I've ever been christened in my entire life by anybody, and I should think it extremely improbable that I ever was. And so does Dr. Chasuble. You, on the other hand, have been christened already.
Yes, but I've not been christened for years.
Yes, but you have been christened. That is the important thing.
Quite so I know my constitution can stand it. If you're unsure about your ever having been christened, I must say I think it very dangerous you're venturing on it now. It might make you very unwell. You could have hardly have forgotten that someone quite closely connected with you was quite nearly carried off in Paris with a severe chill.
Yes, but you said yourself that a severe chill was not hereditary.
It used to be, I know, but I dare say it is now. Science is always making wonderful improvements in things.
That is nonsense. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Jack, you're at the muffins again. I wish you wouldn't. There are only 2 left. I told you I was particularly fond of muffins.
But I hate tea cake!
Why on earth then do you allow tea cake to be served up for your guests? What ideas you have of hospitality?
Algernon?
Yes, dear, if you can believe him.
I don't. That does not affect the wonderful beauty of his answer.
True. Matters of great importance. Style, not sincerity, is the vital thing. Mr. Worthing, what explanation can you offer me for pretending to have a brother? Was it in order that you may come up to town and see me as often as possible?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
I have grades on the subject, but I intend to crush them. This is not the moment for German skepticism. Their explanations seem to be quite satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's. That seems to me to have a stamp of truth upon it.
I'm quite content with what Mr. Lemprey said. His voice alone seems to inspire one with absolute rigidity.
Then you think we should forgive them?
Yes. I mean, no.
True. I had forgotten. There are principles at stake that one cannot surrender. Which of us should tell them? The task is not a pleasant one.
Couldn't we both speak at the same time?
An excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Will you take the time for me?
Certainly.
Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That's all.
Our Christian names, is that all?
We have to be christened.
This afternoon?
For me, you're prepared to do this terrible thing.
I am.
To please me, you're already my faces fearful ordeal.
I am.
How absurd to talk of the equality of sexes, where self-sacrifice to concern men are infinitely beyond us.
We are.
They have moments of physical courage of which we women know absolutely nothing.
Darling.
Darling.
Lady Bracknell.
Good heavens!
What does this mean?
Merely that I'm engaged to Mr. Worthing.
Come here. Sit down. Sit down immediately. Hesitation of any kind is a sign of mental decay in the young and of physical weakness in the old. Apprised, sir, of my daughter's sudden flight by her trusty maid, whose confidence I purchased by means of a small coin, I followed her at once by luggage ready. Her unhappy father is, I'm glad to say, under the impression that she is attending a more than usually lengthy lecture by the University Extension Scheme on the influence of permanent income on thought. I do not propose to undeceive. Indeed, I've never undeceived him on any question. I would consider it wrong. You must be quite aware that all communication between yourself and my daughter must cease immediately from the moment. On this point, as indeed on all points, I am firm.
I am engaged to be married to Gwendolen.
You are nothing of the kind, sir. And now is beloved's Algernon. Algernon? Yes, Aunt Augusta? May I ask if it is in this house that your invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, resides? Oh, no, Bunbury doesn't live here. In fact, Bunbury is somewhere else at the present. Bunbury's dead. Dead? When did Mr. Bunbury die? His death must have been extremely sudden. I killed Bunbury this afternoon. I mean, poor Bunbury died this afternoon. What did he die of? Bunbury? He was quite exploded. Exploded? Was he the victim of a revolutionary outrage? I was not aware that Bunbury was at all interested in social legislation. If so, he was well punished for his morbidity. My dear Aunt Augusta, I mean, it was found out. The doctors found out that poor Bunbury could not live, that is what I mean. So Bunbury died. He seems to have had great confidence in the opinion of his physician. I'm glad, however, that Bunbury has made up his mind at the end as to some definite course of action and acted under proper medical advice. Now that we've got rid of this Mr. Bunbury, may I ask Mr. Worthing, who is that young person whose hand my nephew Algernon seems to be holding in what
seems to me to be a most unnecessary manner.
That lady is Miss Cecily Cardew, my ward.
I'm engaged to be married to Cicely Augusta.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Moncrief and I are engaged to be married, Lady Bracknell.
I do not know whether there is anything peculiarly exciting in the air of this particular part of Hertfordshire, but the number of engagements that go on seems to me to be well above the proper average that statistics have laid down for our guidance. I think some preliminary inquiry on my part would not be out of place. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected with any of the larger railway stations in London? As I had any information. Until yesterday, I was not aware of any persons or families whose origin was a terminus.
Miss Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, SW. Gervais Park, Dorking, Surrey, and is foreign Fifeshire, NB.
That is not unsatisfactory. Free addresses always inspire confidence, even in print. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I've carefully preserved the court guides of the period, Lady Bracknell. They are open to your inspection.
I have known strange errors in that publication.
Miss Cardew's family solicitors are Messrs. Markby, and Markby.
Markby, and Markby. A firm of the very highest position in their profession. Indeed, I am told that one of the Mr. Markbys can be seen at dinner parties. So far, I am satisfied.
Oh, extremely kind of you, Lady Bracknell. You will also be pleased to hear that I have in my possession certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, registration, vaccination, confirmation, and the measles. Both the English and the German variety.
A life crowded with incident, I see. Though perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. I'm not myself in favor of premature experiences. When the time approaches for our departure, we have not known us. Mr. Worthing, I had better ask you if Miss Cardew has any small fortune?
Only about £130,000 in the fund. That is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to have seen you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing. £130,000. And in the funds. Miss Cardew seems to be a most attractive young lady. Few girls in the present day have any really solid qualities. Any qualities that last or improve with time at any rate. We live, I am sad to say, in an age of surfaces. Come over here, dear. Why, your dress is sadly simple, and your hair looks as though nature might have left it. But that can also be altered. A thoroughly experienced French maid produces a marvelous effect in a very brief space of time. I remember recommending one to young Lady Lance, and after 3 months, her husband did not know her.
And after 6 months, nobody knew her.
Kindly turn round, sweet child. No, the side view is what I want. Yes, quite as I expected. There are distinct social possibilities in your profile. The 2 weak points of today are its want of profile and its want of position. Chin a little higher, dear. Style largely depends on the way the chin is worn. They are worn very high at present. Algernon?
Yes, Aunt Augusta.
There are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the dearest, sweetest, prettiest girl in the whole world. I don't give tuppence about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully about society, Algernon. Only people who can't get into it do that. Miss Cardew's, of course, you are quite aware Algernon is nothing but his desk to depend on. But I do not approve of mercenary marriages of any kind. When I married Lord Bracknell, I had no fortune whatsoever. I wouldn't dream of allowing that to stand in my way. Well, I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cicely, you may kiss me. marriage, I think, had better take place quite soon.
Thank you, Augusta.
Thank you, Old Master.
To speak frankly, I'm not myself in favor of long engagements. They allow people to find out each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
Excuse me, Lady Bracknell, for interrupting you, but I am Miss Carter's guardian, and she cannot marry until she comes of age without my consent. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. On one side.
Thank you very much to have to speak frankly to you, Lady Bracknell. I do not approve at all of your nephew's moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew? Algernon? Impossible. He is an Oxonian.
There can be no doubt about the matter. This afternoon, during my temporary absence in London, on a important question of romance, he gained admission to my house under the false pretense of being my brother. Under the assumed name, he drank. I've just been informed by my butler an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brew 89 wine, which I was especially reserving for myself. Continuing his disgraceful deception, he succeeded over the course of the afternoon in alienating the affections of my only ward. He subsequently stayed to tea and devoured every single muffin. And to make his conduct all the more heartless is that he knew perfectly well from the start that I have no brother. I never had a brother, and I don't intend to have a brother, not even of any kind. I distinctly told him so yesterday.
After careful consideration, I decided to entirely overlook my nephew's conduct to you.
That is extremely kind of you, Lady Bracknell. However, my own decision is unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Come over here, sweet child. How old are you, dear?
Well, I am really only 18, but I have been to 20 at dinner parties.
You are quite right in making some slight alterations. No woman should ever be quite accurate about her age. She looks so calculated. 18, but admitting to 20 at dinner parties. Well, it will not be very long before you are of age and free from the restraints of tutelage. Well, I don't think that your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance.
Pray excuse me, Lady Bracknell, for interrupting you again. But I feel it only fair to inform you that under the terms of her grandfather's will, Miss Carter does not become of age until she is 35.
I cannot see that as a grave objection. 35 is a very attractive age. Modern society is full of women of the very highest birth who have, by their own free choice, remained 35 for years. Lady Dumbleton is an instance in point. To my own knowledge, she has remained 35 ever since she arrived at the age of 40. Many years ago now. I see no reason why Miss Carter should not be even still more attractive at the age you mentioned than she is at present. There will be a large accumulation of property.
Algy, could you wait for me till I was 35?
Of course I could, sister. You know that I could.
I felt it instinctively, yes, but I couldn't wait that long. I hate waiting even for 5 minutes for anybody. I'm not punctual myself, I know, but I do like punctuality in others. And waiting, even for marriage, is quite out of the question.
What shall we do?
I don't know, wisdom and grief.
My dear Mr. Worth, as Miss Cardinal states positively that she cannot possibly wait until she is 35, a remark which I am bound to say seems to me to be somewhat impatient. I beg you to reconsider your decision.
But my dear Lady Bracknell, the matter is entirely in your hands. The moment you consent to my marriage with Gwendolyn, I will most happily allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
You must be quite aware that what you propose is out of the question.
And a passionate celibacy is all that any of us can look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for my Gwendolyn. Algernon can choose for himself. Come dear, we have argued 5, if not 6 grades. To miss any more might serve us to comment on the platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christenings.
The christenings? idea is grotesque and irreligious. I will not hear of such excesses. Algernon, I forbid you to be baptized. Lord Bragdon would be highly displeased if he learned that that was the way in which you wasted your time and money.
Am I to understand then that there are to be no christenings at all this afternoon?
I'm afraid that as things are now, it wouldn't be much of a practical joining us, Dr. Chesney.
I am grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Wilde. They savor of the heretical views of the Anabaptists, views which I have completely refuted before my unpublished sermons. However, as your present mood seems to be one peculiarly secular, I shall return to the church at once. Indeed, I have just been informed by the pew opener that for the last hour and a half, Miss Prison has been waiting for me in the vestry.
Miss Prison? Did I hear you mention Miss Prison?
Yes, Lady Michael, I'm on my way to join her.
Pray, allow me to detain you for a moment. This is a matter that may prove to be serious importance to Lord Bragdon and myself. Is this Miss Prison a female of repellent aspect, remotely connected with education?
She's the most cultivated of ladies, and the very picture of respectability.
It was obviously the same person. May I ask what position she holds in your household?
I am a celibate, madam.
For the last 3 years, Miss Prison has been Miss Carter's esteemed governess and valued companion.
In spite of what I hear of her, I must see her at once. Let her be sent for.
Dear God, she's there.
I was told you expected me in the vestry, dear Canon. I've been waiting for you there for an hour and 3/4.
Prison! Come here, Prison! Prison, where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prison, you left Lord Bragdon's house, number 104, Upper Grosvenor Street, in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, after the elaborate investigation of the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered at midnight in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained a manuscript of a 3-volume novel of more than usually revolting sentimentality. The baby was not there. Prison! Where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, I admit with shame that I do not know. Oh, I only wish I did. But the plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mention, the day that is forever branded in my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in its perambulator. I had also with me an old but capacious handbag in which I had intended to place the manuscript of a work of fiction I had written in my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction for which I never shall forgive myself, I placed the manuscript in the bassinet and placed the baby in the handbag.
But what did you do with the handbag?
Oh, please do not ask me, Mr. Blair.
Miss Prison, this is a matter of no small importance to me. I must know what you did with the handbag that contained that infant.
I deposited it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
Which railway station?
Victoria. The brighton one.
I must return to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, you will wait for me here.
You're not too long. I'll wait here for it all my life.
Gwendolyn!
What do you think this means, Lady Bragdon?
I need hardly suspect, Dr. Chasney. I need hardly tell you that companions of high position, strange coincidences are not supposed to happen. They are hardly considered good things.
Uncle Jackson is strangely agitated.
depends on your answer.
It appears to be nothing. Yes, here is the injury it received with the upsetting of a Gower Street omnibus in younger and happier. And, oh, now here is the stain on the lining caused by the explosion of a temperance belt, an incident that occurred at Leamington. Oh, and here the locks are my initials. I had forgotten that in a moment of extravagance I left them placed there. The bag is undoubtedly mine. I'm delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It's been a great inconvenience being without it all these years.
Miss Prism was restored to you in just that handbag. I was the baby who placed in it.
You?
Yes! Mother!
Mr. Portman, I am unmarried.
Unmarried? I do not deny it. It's a very serious blow. However, who can cast the first stone against one who has suffered? Cannot repentance wipe out an act of folly? Why should there be one law for men and another for women? Mother, I forgive you.
Oh, Mr. Portman, there's some great error. There is the lady who can tell you who you really are.
I don't mean to sound inquisitive, but would you kindly inform me as to who I am?
I'm afraid the news that I have to give to you may not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Elder brother? Then I have a brother after all. I always knew I had a brother. I always said I had a brother. Cicely, how could you ever doubt that I had a brother? Dr. Chaswood, my poor unfortunate brother. Miss Prism, my unfortunate brother. Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother. Algy, you young scoundrel. You have to treat me with more respect. You've never treated me like a brother in all your life.
Well, not until I did my best. Oh, I must admit I was a little out of practice.
What old are you? What is your Christian name, now that you've become someone else?
Of course, I had forgotten that point. Your opinion on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except in my affections.
What a noble nature you have, Gwendolyn.
Then it let me cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta, a moment. At the time when Miss Prism placed me in the handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christenings, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
Then I had been christened at the sudden. Then what name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Naturally, being the eldest son, you are christened after your father.
Yes, but what was my father's Christian name?
I cannot at present moment recall what the general's Christian name was, although I do think he had one. He was an eccentric, I admit, but only in later years, and that was a result of the Indian climate, and marriage, and indigestion, and other things of the kind.
Algy, surely you can remember what our father's Christian name was.
My dear fellow, we were never on speaking terms. He died when I was a year old.
His name would no doubt appear in any of the military directories of the period.
The general was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life. Although I'm sure that his name would appear in any military directory.
The military directories for the last 40 years are here. These delightful records should have been my constant study. Here we are. M. Generals. Magsley, Armstrong, Crosby. What ghastly names they have. Magsby, Marksby, Marks, Moncrief. Lieutenant, 1840. Captain. Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel, General, Christian names. Ernest, John. I always told you that my name was Ernest, didn't I? Well, I mean, it is Ernest. It naturally is Ernest.
Yes, I remember now general's name was Ernest. I knew I had some reason for disliking the name.
My own Ernest. I felt from the first you could have no other name.
Wonder, it is very painful for a man to so find it. For his entire life he's been telling nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
I can, for I feel you are sure to change.
Laetitia.
Oh, Frederick at last.
Cicely? At last?
Gwendolen, at last.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I now realize for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.